Welcome, everyone, to episode 3 of the Fantasy Footbaldies podcast, starring your hosts, Corey Skaggs.
And Matt Thompson.
Brought to you by Antonio Brown. What are you doing?
For real. The whole Antonio Brown saga is nonstop. The drama keeps going. And I'm here to eat it up like a mom that stays home and watches soap operas.
Like eating up those wins.
That's right. What's up, guys? Welcome in. Corey and I are going to start this new segment where we are going to have a beer on the podcast every week.
What are you drinking there?
I'm having a Swami's IPA from Pizza Port out of San Diego. Corey, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking a Kingdom Blonde Ale, a little Chiefs going, and it's one from Golden Road, which I think is up north in California, correct?
I don't exactly know where it is.
I think it is.
I think it might be down south.
Whatever.
I think it's close. I think it's close to Dodger Stadium, but I could be completely wrong.
I think you're wrong. That's fine, though.
That's okay. Hey, cheers, guys.
Hey, cheers, brother.
Hey, cheers, man. Hey, that was pretty. Just so you guys know, we both now have identical setups. Let me take a drink of this real quick.
It's tasty.
So Corey got a mic last week on loaner, and it didn't really work very well. So he ended up buying the same mic I got. I ended up buying the same light that Corey got because we did have so many people reach out about the video. They want the video. So we're doing the video. We chose hats and jerseys today. We have these fancy selfie lights that we bought that are meant to put your cell phone in.
I'm going to start doing makeup.
But we out here. Corey will be doing makeup tutorials starring Kylie's line.
Oh, so you buy that at Sephora, actually. I don't know why I know
I don't know why you know that either.
Sorry.
You know who would know that in our league?
Brittany?
No, Jimmy. Because he watches The Bachelor.
He does.
Anyway, what's up, guys? So moving forward, our podcasts are going to kind of have the same structure weekly. The first two podcasts that we did, there was no matchups or anything to talk about. It was all pre-draft, post-draft stuff. So just to give you guys the kind of setup of what this will look like weekly from now on until the end of the season, we're going to go over trades that happened this week. We're going to go over the weekly recap, most entertaining NFL game of the week, in our opinions. We will have Corey's offensive play of the week, and we'll have Matt's defensive play of the week. We'll have breakouts and fake outs. That's where we talk about players that did really well and then players that were supposed to do really well and didn't. We'll talk about the biggest loser, which is the biggest or the baddest beat in our league, which will lead us into our Son of a Bench segment.
Ooh.
Where we talk about someone's bench that sort of went off. We will be excluding benches with multiple quarterbacks. But like if you have a quarterback that goes off, I do believe Lamar Jackson was on someone's bench this week, but he was excluded too. We're talking more on position players or players that you could have played differently that would have possibly won you the game or at least got you more points. We're going to go over waiver pickups and fab dollars, our weekly predictions, my weekly Gavin update on a fun thing about Gavin, our dad joke, weekly questions. And then don't forget, guys, we sent this out in the group me this week. We're doing a Baldies hate mail segment where we want to hear from you guys about who you want to talk trash about. We realized that Corey and I sort of have more of an opportunity to talk trash. Excuse me. And so we want to kind of include you guys in on that. So if you guys want to get in on the Baldies hate mail segment, just make sure to email us at fantasyfootballedpodcast@gmail.com.
Even if you're not in the league and you just want to hate on people, I'm down for that.
Yeah, and if you listen to this and you hear us talk about each other or you watch the video and you want to talk trash on my beard or Corey's natural bald head, just email us in. What? Just email in, let us know. Again, that's Fantasy Footballed Podcast. That was our original name that we created the Gmail account under. Even though we are now the Fantasy Footbaldies, you are looking for Fantasy Footballed Podcast at gmail.com. We'll follow that up with our goodbyes, and that will be our week-to-week moving forward.
For sure. And we will actually put that in the comments or I guess the description on the YouTube video this time as well. So you should see it below. right
And
there.
then also just to let you guys know, we are having our first guest next week. I did
Ooh.
confirm with him tonight that Brett Wallace, Mr. Keenan and Kelsey will be joining us next week on the podcast. He is our current standing number one. I believe week one, he put up 154 or 164 points on the week.
A lot.
His team is a monster. He is absolutely the team to look out for. He is our newest member of this league too. So, Brett, you showed up and you balled out the gate. I'm excited that you're in this, man. It's going to be a blast, and your team is terrifying. So, looking forward to having you on next week. And here we go.
So we're going to dive into week one trades. Today was ludicrous, by the way. Even
insane.
It was crazy, but today
we didn't even have this many trades in the entire season that we've had in the first week of fantasy football this year.
It was insane. Like, there was just so much going on. So we're going to start with Ethan actually traded Tariq Cohen to Jake for Matt Ryan, which is a decent trade. It's pretty even because you can get quarterbacks are pretty dime a dozen, but Matt Ryan's, he's got a MVP under his belt. So
yeah.
And Tariq Cohen catches balls and he has receptions, and
he lined up as their slot wide receiver.
Yeah. So he's wide receiver, running back.
And it's a reason why one of my wide receivers did really bad. We'll talk about that later. Another trade, good one that happened was between me and next week's guest, Brett. Brett actually gave up Dalvin Cook and Robert Woods, and I gave him Saquon Barkley. Now, I know this is a kind of a ballsy move, and a lot of people were like, wait, what? I had no wide receivers, and this was, for me, the realest offer I've gotten from anyone in the league. I know I paid up for Saquon Barkley, but I'm more into fantasy football for the long run rather than I have a baller on my team. I have a star on my team. I don't want to have a star on my team and get last place. So I'm in this to win. I'm in this to make playoffs. This trade made the most sense for me.
Yeah, and I got so many offers for Christian McCaffrey this week, but that's my boy. I can't, and I know, but my team's holding their own, so we're okay.
I feel you, dude.
Next will be actually you again, Matt. He traded Hunter Henry and Giovanni Bernard to Nick for Tyler Boyd and 10 fab before. So this is yesterday, and then this morning we get a little message. I don't even know who sent it.
Jeff sent it, and then I got the update from Bleacher Report.
Hunter Henry out, injured,
shattered his knee,
might be out 8 to 10 weeks, maybe. I don't know. What did it say?
It said 4 to 6 right now, but I don't know.
6.
He slid him into the IR slot, Nick. Again, bro, it was nothing that I knew of. I am not an NFL insider. I don't have connections.
Or do you?
Obviously, that trade would not have gone down. Well, if I knew that and you didn't, I'd probably still offer it. But if you knew, it wouldn't be accepted. But that is the fun of fantasy football.
You don't know what's going to happen.
That kind of stuff, right? So, and the Gio Bernard, he has Joe Mixon. So him getting Gio Bernard, who I just wavered last week, or no, maybe it was the week before. Maybe it was before, right after the draft or something. Anyway, Nick, you having Gio Bernard. I just want to talk about this real quick. Nick has every single one of his starting running backs handcuffed on his bench.
Yep.
He has Ezekiel Elliott and Chad Pollard. Or not.
No.
I keep saying Chad Pollard. It's a guy I went to elementary and
really?
junior high with. Tony Pollard.
That's right. I was going to say Tyler for some reason.
Derrick Henry and Deion Lewis. And now he has Joe Mixon and Giovanni Bernard. So if he loses a starting running back, he's gold.
He's good.
Man, having these brewskis while we podcast might be a bad idea. I got the burpees.
Oh, I'm going to have to go pee-pee later. So,
Corey traded Marlon Mack and 20 fab to Justin for Juju Smith-Schuster. This one was fun. This is a great trade, honestly. We totally got Justin in the group me a little bit. I was on the phone with Corey.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, Corey, watch this. And I put in the group me like, yeah, way to get him, Corey. And Justin's like, wait, what? What do you mean get me? Just thought that was hilarious. No, that's a great trade.
I think it's even pretty much.
Absolutely.
With the 20 fab. Marlon Mack for Juju is not fair, but I think you throw the 20 fab in there, it makes it pretty fair, especially because.
And Marlon Mack week 1 is balling out. So.
He has the most rushing yards in the league right now, and he's gonna get the rock. They have Jacoby Brissett. Like, you're gonna have to give him the ball.
Yeah. So
next would
another
be
solid trade.
I don't even know if I want to talk about it.
I know.
So Jimmy gave up Julio Jones and 20 fab. Jimmy gave 20 fab to Jeff for Austin Eckler.
So we're talking the number one wide receiver so far, if I read the stats correctly, and 20 of Jimmy's fab for Austin Eckler.
Ludicrous.
I mean,
It is
you do
what it
you.
is.
Y'all get yourselves out there, but that one we will. There's some questions of the week we'll address later, and that is one of the questions of the week we will
And
talk
then
about.
Jimmy coming in again.
And
Next
then
trade.
Jeff. So these guys completed that trade earlier today. It is September 11th today.
Like an hour ago.
But the Julio Jones and the Eckler one was early today, like lunch. I think it was at 11:30. I was at Flames and Skewers, and then like an hour ago, Jeff closes. Well, let's talk about Jimmy did a silent auction,
Which is crazy.
between
That's awesome.
Ethan and Jeff, where they both had good offers, but he was like, let's add fab in a silent auction. Best fab offer takes the trade. Jeff wins it with Cooper Kupp and Julian Edelman and 40 fab to Jimmy for Devontae Adams. So to net this whole trade out, Jimmy gave up 20 fab, Julio Jones, and Devontae Adams. In return, he got Cooper Kupp, Julian Edelman, Austin Eckler, and 40 fab, netting Jimmy positive 20 fab within the trade.
Yeah.
Insane.
So
The most giant trade I've ever seen. Even though it was broken into two, I would classify that as one trade. It was the same two guys, and it happened in the same day, and it was fab budgets exchanged between them. Insane trading, but I love it. You're seeing some of the top names in fantasy football move from team to team already.
After week one.
Not that I mean, we'll get into my wide receiver situation later, but I mean, I needed to balance my team out. Other people needed to balance their team out. It is what it is. Everybody knows who's played fantasy football. Week one is when you either give up or you pay up for what you need moving forward. If you lose week one, chances are you want to move some players around and not lose again.
It's
if
honestly
that's going to happen, who knows?
Like the best time to make trades, like because you're going to catch people off guard who are trying to sell or too early before it gets bad, and it's just a good time. That's when you're supposed to be buying and selling. So
my favorite offer in the group me was Nick when he posted up like all my receivers are averaging double digits. It's like averaging.
Yeah, it's been 1 week.
Yeah, so their week one score is their average. Okay, well, I love it, Nick. I love Nick's drive. I've played fantasy football with Nick for 3 or 4 years now. He's so fun to play with, and he's the one that actually got me into group me. So that's why we are all on group me, is because Nick got me into it. But
and then there was a trade that almost happened, but Jake offered Jimmy Jason Witten for Leonard Fournette. And he's like, didn't hurt to try.
Yeah, I did tell Jake I would have to decline that one because I think Jeff has given up too much. I would call that collusion. I mean, I think Jake has given up too much. I would call that collusion. So anyway, those are the trades that went down. We're going to jump into the weekly recaps. Week one recap. So the first matchup that we talked about last week was me and David. I took a beating. The final score was David 142.82 to me 108.12. Quarterbacks
is projected this week though.
This week
or last week? Sorry, look at your projected.
Yeah, 129.21 me to 129.71 David. Not even close on either
No, that's
side.
crazy for a 0.5 like difference on the projected, and it ends up being
a blowout.
Yeah.
I was winning going into the Monday night games. All he had left was Deshaun Watson, and I was up 2 points. And then Deshaun Watson got 36 points. So
nice.
But hold on. So my we'll get more into this later. This is where it gets bad. My two starting receivers both dropped donuts. I had Geronimo Allison and Anthony Miller. Geronimo Allison had 0 targets. Anthony Miller had 1 target and no catches, resulting in 2 zeros.
Both on Thursday night too.
Yes, and that's so I'm gonna be real. I had adjusted my lineup right at the start. I put Justin Jackson in. I took out Anthony Miller, and I moved up Marvin Jones into the wide receiver, Justin Jackson into the flex. I made an impulsive decision on wanting to see my players play tonight, like right now.
Oh, come on.
So I was like, no, I'm putting in Anthony Miller and Geronimo Allison because they're both on the TV tonight. They're playing each other. This is going to be awesome. Needless to say, it was not awesome.
Did not go well.
And the rest of my team did just fine. I got Carson Wentz, Saquon Barkley, Le'Veon Bell, Hunter Henry, Marvin Jones, Seattle's defense. Granted, half of my team is gone now on other people's teams, and I have a brand new team. But
this would have been a good, perfect spot for Bob Menery. All zeros across the board.
Yes, yep. Just as I knew it, all zeros across the board. But anyway, that was mine and David's matchup.
So next we had Brett versus Nick, which was slaughter pretty much. And I have the scores here. It was Nick had a 93.74 points, which is not great, not good at all. And Brett had 165.62. So he beat him by 73 points.
Yikes.
No, 72 points. 72 points. He beat him by 72. That's a lot.
Come on. Is that 2005.5 math, Corey?
Too soon.
Too soon?
It's been,
bro, it was like 14 and a half years ago.
Too soon. But yeah, it was pretty bad. Brett's, like we said, Brett's team's monstrous. Patrick Mahomes, like not Dalvin Cook anymore. Michael Thomas.
But Dalvin Cook went off. Chris Carson went off. Michael Thomas went off.
Robert Woods had a good game. DJ Moore had a decent game.
Everyone. And then on the flip side, Joe Mixon, 3.7. Eric Ebron, 1.8. Just a poor performance.
The Chargers did 2 points.
Yeah, well, it's the Chargers.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm taking every jab at the Chargers that I can this week because I got a text message from Brett that was like, way to wash the Eagles' balls in the podcast. I don't know if I could say that. I don't know if that's explicit or not.
Is balls explicit?
I don't know. If we say it too many times, probably.
Remember when South Park said the S word like 172 times an episode?
And they counted it in the bottom right-hand corner or whatever. Yeah.
We should do a ball counter. Just right here.
Ball counter. All right, next matchup we have Brittany versus Jake. Let's see. This one wasn't a bad matchup. Brittany came out with 115.3. Jake came out with 124.86. Pretty even matchup. Saddest part of this game is Tyreek Hill for Brittany with 4.1 points, leaving the field with an injury, later coming back to find out he had an insane some clavicle shoved into his sternum posterior something, and the guy is out 4 to 6 weeks. Poor Brittany, half of her team is on IR. You got Melvin Gordon holding out. You got Devin Funchess on IR. Now Tyreek Hill, who is out. On the flip side, though, she had Amari Cooper get 22 points. Alvin Kamara get 23 points. Austin Hooper get 16. And on Jake's side, so DeAndre Hopkins, who I had last year, who I love.
Baller.
Love DeAndre Hopkins. That game, we will talk more about what was our most entertaining game of the week. But, dude, that game is like a game that explains why I love to watch football. The last 3 minutes of that game were nuts.
The last 57 seconds of the game were nuts.
Yeah. And so DeAndre Hopkins comes out 31.1 points total. Alshon Jeffrey, 22 points. We had some bad performances. Tevin Coleman, Aaron Jones, Jared Cook, Mike Williams, all under 10 points. His kicker got 17 points.
Ridiculous.
This is fantasy football, guys. This is what happens. You have kickers getting more points than your wide receivers. It happens. Mm-hmm. Jake, so we have a segment coming up called Son of a Bench. Jake has a few quarterbacks on his bench who did really well. Jake played Matt Ryan, who got 22 points, but he benched Dak Prescott with 41.4 and Lamar Jackson with 43.56. We are excluding quarterbacks from Son of a Bench because obviously, for the most part, they're going to score the most points weekly. But those are two insane quarterbacks to have on your bench.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But then still one awesome job, Jake. Good matchup, guys. That was an entertaining game to watch. Once I knew I was out of my game, I always like to look at who's left and who's alive in matchups.
Oh, for sure.
And root against whoever's winning. That's why I rooted against you this week, Corey.
Speaking of people that weren't in a game, Dallas beat Jimmy by a lot, 57 points, which is I think was the second highest score differential. He just stomped on him. He had Rivers, Sutton, Williams had 22 points. Yeah, he just balled out. He had Darius Juice, who only put up 6.8, but even Gurley got the ball a decent amount. Kelsey kind of underperformed. Keenan Allen had a great game. Gostkowski had 16. Minnesota's D had a great game. Like, the only person that I think overperformed for Jimmy was Matt Stafford and his kicker, Matt Prater. So having two people overperform and have 7 not, that's obviously not great. But Jimmy's made a lot of changes to his team, so that's obviously going to be changing very, very soon. So that was a 159 to 102 final score.
Yeah, not even close. Moving on, we have your cursor is right over my words. There it
Sorry.
is. Jeff and Justin coming in. Justin with 141.12 to Jeff's 133.4. It
was a close game.
Close game, good game, down to the wire. Jeff had Duke Johnson playing in the last game. Duke Johnson ended with 13 points. All Duke Johnson needed, I mean, of course, all anyone needs is the points, blah, 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 to beat the other team. All Duke Johnson needed was 9 more points, less than that. He needed 8 more points, and he would have beat Justin. Some underperformances in this game. Mike Evans coming out with 4.8 points on Jeff's team. Devontae Freeman coming out with 4.1 on Justin's team. Sammy Watkins.
Jesus.
Holy
Jeez
moly. By the way, we are trying our best not to cuss, but every time we say one small cuss word, we get it about 8 times in the group me. So we are trying our best. I can't wait to hear where we missed it this week, guys. David, I'm talking to you. Or
I want to drop.
Brad, I can't wait till you go back and listen to this one in 6 weeks and tell us where we cussed. But Cleveland's defense on Jeff's side, 0 points.
Because they played the Tennessee Titans, undefeated, by the way, now. 1-0.
Stupid. Vance McDonald, 6 points at the tight end position versus Delaney Walker on Justin's 22.5 killer. Other than that, everything was pretty matched up. Oh, no, sorry, Eckler. Eckler came out 39.4. We did talk about Eckler was included in a massive trade.
It's a great game by Eckler.
He is now on Jimmy's team. Boom. Justin takes the win.
So Carol actually is playing fantasy football now, and at one point, like maybe into the third quarter, she was like, "Can you call your boy Delaney Walker and start getting some points over here?" I was like, "Okay, I'll call him." 2 touchdowns later,
boom.
Yeah, I'm like, "Hey, you're welcome." By the way, next would be I'm gonna go ahead and crack another one since I brought 2 with me. I played Ethan this week, and I won. And that was actually a pretty close game as well. But let's see if I can open my phone with my face, but it won't let me, so that's awesome. But it was 145.6, which I think I was third in points this week, to Ethan's 128.16. And the projected, he actually had me beat on projected points. But I had Christian McCaffrey. He balled out and had a 42.9 points.
He balled out?
Get it? Ball counter. I'm
talking about. Oh, are you not looking at me?
No, I put it on the.
Oh, I was. He balled
out. Your hairline still looks better than mine, though.
Well, it's because I actually have hair there. I just chose to shave it.
Matt wants to grow his hair back, by the way.
I do. I regret the name of the podcast, but I regret nothing. But I'm gonna wear a hat every time, and you won't even know that I'm not bald.
No regrets. But yeah, Christian McCaffrey balled out. Evan Ingram had the most points as a tight end, and then Marlon Mack had a great game. He's leading the league in rushing right now. And Ethan had a pretty good game besides Winston, who had 9.06 points, which is
Winston, biggest drop to the waiver of the week.
Oh, is he on the waivers now?
Yeah, I just looked up his stats, and he was yellow, which means he was just dropped.
Ooh,
it was in the last 24 hours.
I did not know that.
But going back and recap our guesses of the week, this is actually pretty funny. Week 1, we had me versus David. I had David. Corey had David. David won.
Sorry. Go
ahead. Yeah.
Matchup 2, Brett versus Nick. We both had Brett. We both picked correctly.
Matchup 3, Brittany versus Jake. I chose Brittany. Corey chose Jake, and Jake won.
Yeah.
Corey is up.
And now it would be Dallas versus Jimmy, and Matt chose Dallas, and I chose Jimmy. Dallas won. That's my fault.
And we're tied again. Match 5, Jeff versus Justin. I chose Justin. He chose Jeff. Justin won. I am up 1.
Jeff let me down just like the Browns did to him. Because Jeff actually messaged us. He's like, I don't know what to do. We're up. And I was like, just wait. 43-13 later.
Missed the PAT on the first touchdown.
And he's like,
now
okay,
I feel normal.
Yeah, that's what it was. And then myself versus Ethan. Matt chose Ethan. I chose myself, obviously. It is tied 4-4 after week 1.
We are 4-4s. So
4 for 4s.
Moving on.
Have you ever had a 4 for 4 from In-N-Out?
No.
Oh,
we just had this talk today about how.
No,
yes, I asked you to look at the nutrition facts on the food you were eating, and the yeah,
it's gonna be funny. So we're actually gonna dive into the most entertaining
game of the game,
entertaining NFL game of the week. I'm gonna start off with myself diving into the Lions at the Cardinals. The first 3 quarters of the game, the Cardinals looked pitiful. We're talking terrible and
awful.
Kyler Murray did not look good. And then at some point, something clicked, and I don't know what. I don't know if it's because the Lions.
You want to know what clicked?
What?
My man, my favorite guy in the entire NFL.
We talked about him last week, right?
The greatest man to ever play the game of football, Mr. Larry Fitzgerald. Larry
Fitzmagic. Larry
balled out, dude.
Yeah, he did.
He had on Nick's bench. Where's he at? 25 points.
Oh yeah. You see that catch he had?
I saw every catch he had.
Oh, it was amazing.
13 targets, 8 receptions, 113 yards, 1 receiving touchdown. This guy is like 107.
He is. He's
old. Still a wide receiver in the NFL. Yeah, I get it if you're a quarterback and you're 52
Tom
playing
Brady, 50
like
42.
No, you're Larry Fitzgerald. You're out there getting hit by the big boys. How old is Larry Fitzgerald? I'm gonna look this up right now live. This isn't on the agenda. I'm looking it up.
No, it's okay. But they went into overtime, which is great because Arizona scored 18 points in the fourth quarter, came back, tied the game 24-24, went into overtime. Arizona got the ball first, if I'm not mistaken, kicked a field goal. Detroit came back, kicked a field goal. So now it's tied 3-3. So next score wins. They don't score. First tie of the year, week 1.
Just like last year.
The Lions and the
Browns.
0-1.
The Browns and the Steelers, week 1 last year. We were at Disneyland. Was that the week that we went for Carol?
No, that wouldn't, because it would have been October that we went.
Oh, okay. I know we were at Disneyland watching week 1 when the Browns Pittsburgh tie happened. I'm pretty sure that was the tie. Larry's only 36.
That's old for a wide receiver.
I thought he was at least 102.
At least?
At least.
Okay.
My most entertaining NFL game of the week. Brett, this one's coming straight to you for making fun of me for watching the Eagles balls on last week's podcast. The Redskins at the Eagles. Halftime, we're down 17-0. Or it might not have been right at halftime.
It was close, yeah.
But we come back to win that game. Carson Wentz looking better as ever. Good as ever.
Better as ever.
A little let down by like a Miles Sanders performance. It was supposed to be ball out, but I don't know.
The bed.
I can tell you. So we just got our new TV in my house. We're super stoked to watch football on the 85er, and people came over. Dallas, Brett, Nessa came over. Everybody knows my house is always open Sundays for football, and so we're watching this game. I'm like,
don't be showing up.
I'm like,
I thought we were.
There is a woman in our league, and Brittany's in our league too.
What?
Jimmy and Brittany are in our league.
My apologies, James.
Sorry. I just had to walk into that joke. Jimmy, you got a lot of trash talk coming to you because you're the quietest person in GroupMe this year, and I don't love it.
Yeah, he's got his muted.
He's working. But I forgot where I was because you're disgusting.
Everyone comes over. My apologies.
Oh, yeah, everyone comes over. I'm stressing. I am stressing out. We're like, everybody's talking about, explosive offense. Some of the fantasy footballers are projecting us to be in the Super Bowl, and we come out, we're 17-0 to the Redskins. I'm like, oh man, come back, win the game. Awesome comeback. What I do love about the Eagles, and again, yeah, I'm out here washing balls, whatever. I know that Doug Peterson, Carson Wentz as the team leaders go into the locker room at halftime, and I would love to just be a fly on the wall for those halftime talks about how they're going to adjust their gameplay. But that is my most entertaining game of the week for sure.
And then next would be, we kind of had both of us agreed on this one. It would be the Texans at the Saints.
This was my top game of the week.
Monday Night Football, the last game of the week. Just a great game overall. Texans were up a little bit, right? They were up 14-3, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't remember exactly.
But they ended up coming back, or the Saints did, and came back and won the game 30-28. And it was just a great game overall. Like we were saying, DeAndre Hopkins just balled out. Drew Brees was slinging the ball. Like
Kenny Stills caught a touchdown as his first appearance in Houston. And
Alvin
it was so
was on the field almost every play.
Oh, easily. And he was lining up in the slot. He was playing multiple positions, and he balled out. He is Brittany's like glued to her lineup player. I get it. That was like my Saquon. But yeah, like Nick. So Nick is a big Kamara fan. He's out here trying to like move anything he can to get Kamara like he had him last year. Kamara to Nick is your McCaffrey.
Oh, for sure. Kamara himself had 8 targets and 7 receptions for 72 yards on top of his 13 rushes for 97 yards. Like,
what was his total air yards?
72.
And ground yards?
97.
So 160 yards total.
Yeah.
That's nuts. That's 16 points just right there. And how many catches?
7.
I mean, so there's 7 more points. The dude balled out in our PPR league.
You know who had a good game was Carlos Hyde. His first game in Houston as well. 10 rushes for 83 yards with the average of 8.3. Like, that's great.
10 for 83 is not bad at all.
No, that's great.
No TDs?
No TDs.
Still good though. What did he total out points wise?
Right around. I don't think he had any receptions if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. Jump back into stats real quick. Carlos had 1 reception, so he had around like probably 10. Yeah, 10 points maybe.
Oh, okay, my number was way different than that.
Well,
14, 10.
Oh yeah, I think it's like 9.3 actually, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong.
Oh, all right. I mean, decent game.
So that actually goes into Corey's offensive play of the week.
Corey's offensive play of the week.
And Matt,
by the way, if anybody knows anyone that does voiceovers,
please bring them our
way. We
are
terrible. Open. We hit up Jimmy and his homie Miles for maybe some intros, some music to be played. They said they're going to do it. I'm not sure the timeline on that, but guys, we're looking to amp this podcast up to do everything we can. Again, our inspiration is the fantasy footballers. They do so many cool segue phrases where they have music playing and they have an announcer's voice, whisper, talking like this about what's coming next. Whispering. Whisper stuttering.
Podcast. Starring next. Let me whisper. Were you about to do that too?
No, I was like, up next we have.
Oh, I thought you were going to do the of the week. What's that song that Garrett loves?
We cannot say it's family friendly.
It's Whisper. That's what it's called.
Wait till you see Matt. Wait till you see Matt. Hey, wait till you see Matt.
But Matt Alvarez is actually going to love my offensive play of the week, and it was actually Will Lutz with 0 seconds left on the clock, 58-yard field goal down the pipe, like to win the game. Yeah. Like, amazing. With all that pressure, like 58 yards, you're going to nail it. You got to give it to him. Offensive play of the week. Like all the other great catches and all that other good stuff that happened. Kickers are important too.
No, so I'm going to put this out there publicly. Brett pitched the idea. I love it. I'm in.
No,
I know you stop. We haven't. I'm sorry. That was mean. I'm sorry. Do you forgive me?
I forgive you.
I don't want to treat you like Dallas treats you.
Dallas is mean to me.
I know. If we keep talking about it, maybe he'll be nicer. He was nice for like the first 2 weeks. And then today he said he hoped you step on duck poop. barefoot or
And
something.
it goes through your toes. And I hope you
That's
stub your toe.
disgusting,
It was like
dude.
at 7:30 this morning. First of all, I
Blech.
know he's at work because it's 5:30 your guys' time. But come on, you have that
He's
much
not at work.
on? Yeah, he is at 5:30 on a Tuesday night, Wednesday morning.
What?
Dallas.
No, what time frame do you think we live in?
It was 7:30 a.m. my time. So it'd been 5:30 your time. He's at work.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. He's at work.
What was that? I'm right.
You're right. I just said that. I'm not afraid to say you're right.
I love you.
I love you. I'm trying to pull this up before I talk about it.
What are you pulling up?
Nothing. Oh no, what I was gonna say was the fantasy footballers. You know how Jason has his locked and loaded, boom, guaranteed, boom, boom, kicker of the week.
Yeah.
Love it. His kicker of the week was Lutz.
Oh, was it? I didn't know that.
Yes, it was, and they talked about it like yesterday or the day before yesterday.
Before he got sick.
Yes. No.
Okay.
Way down here.
Beef
Which-
brisket.
Shout out to. This was just a fun little piece of information to share, and I know that Josh listens to the podcast. Josh actually emailed the fantasy footballers for us, and he asked if maybe we could do the intro for their show one day, or maybe they could just give us a shout out.
Yeah.
Probably won't happen, but
That's okay.
But shout out to Josh Plunkett for doing that for us. Super cool. Josh Plunkett is one of the guys on the waiting list to join our league. We are keeping this at a 12-man league, so we have more than 12 guys that want to play. So we have to do a waiting list style. Brett was number 1 on the list this year. Josh is next up on it. There are a couple
Alvarez
other people.
is on there.
Yeah, Alvarez is on there. I believe KG is back on it because she wants to play again. But
I forgot she was like in the league and then not in the league.
yeah, that's
that.
last year. That's why we had to replace
Who,
her. But
who replaced her?
it was Chase.
Oh, okay. I honestly forgot.
Yeah, Chase was her replacement, and then Brett was Chase's replacement. So the goal with this league,
Brett's
as we,
replacement now.
I know, I mean, like, shoot, Brett's doing too good. Maybe we should bring KG in.
I did text
Just
Brett.
kidding.
I did text Brett today. I was like, hey, so me and Matt are trying to work through some stuff to make your team bad. He's like, just like drop my players for me. I was like, yeah, pretty much. Like your team's too good.
Hey, Corey, I'm gonna offer you a trade right now.
Oh,
My whole team for your whole team.
no.
Do you know how wild that would look on a
On
on a trade site if I just listed my whole lineup and your whole lineup?
How
and then
about-
and then we just hit accept? If football was played on April Fools, that would be one of the funniest things to ever
That
happen.
would be funny. I want your team for my team and all of your fab.
Oh, I'm back to normal. We'll go. Well, I mean, we're going over fab later.
I'm
We're
just
getting
kidding.
out of order
I'm
here.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay. So Corey had his offensive play of the week. We're gonna have Corey's offensive play of the week and Matt's defensive play of the week every week. My defensive play of the week was the Colts-Chargers game. Phillip Rivers had Keenan Allen lined up back of the end zone. There was 8 minutes, 30 seconds left in the game, and Corey just muted his mic hardcore and screamed at his dogs. That was,
I
you
said,
know, we're
hey,
doing
that
the
was
video,
me.
right? No, you know, we're doing the video though, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
we're
So
good.
people just see you scream. I love it.
Yeah, we're good. I know what I did because I was like, hold on. And then they're
Okay.
quiet as heck right now. So
I know. I don't hear them anymore. And
Did
I
you
can't
hear
wait
them
to
before?
hear your dogs bark in my car. Yeah, I did hear them.
damn.
I didn't know how long it would take you to
I
stop
was
them.
like, it was only like maybe 15 seconds, but go ahead. So now we're gonna dive into.
Wait, I haven't finished my defensive play of
Oh.
the week, bro.
That's what I
So-
thought. Did you even do the voice?
I started it.
Oh,
Matt's
that's what-
defensive play of the week. Dude, I
Yeah.
already started this whole thing.
I was listening to my dogs bark. I'm sorry.
Okay. Phillip Rivers had Keenan Allen back of the end zone. 8.5 minutes left in the game. But the Colts safety, Malik Hooker, he one-handed caught the ball. Now, I'm not talking like smacked it with his hand, fumbled it around, and then caught it. No, he's straight. He like, if my microphone is the ball, he
Give
caught
that
it.
to me. It's mine.
And then not only did he catch it, he kept it in that form and tucked it in and didn't move the ball at all.
It was incredible.
That it was the most impressive catch I've ever seen. It was better than any Odell Beckham Jr. catch I've ever seen.
The first one's like
The 3-finger, no. A full sprint,
but we're talking this ball
palm
was
of
a
the hand.
bullet.
Yes. And not only did he intercept it in the end zone, he was able to run it back to the 20.
Oh, is that how far he got? I know he ran.
That is
I don't know how far he got.
that is my defensive play of the week. It was pretty. It was not pretty if you're a Chargers fan. I'm sorry, Brett and Dallas.
They still won.
But well, yeah, they won, and they both were here watching the game, and it was like, dude, I tell you right now, watching a Chargers game with Dallas and Brett is the most stressful and the most exciting thing I've ever been a part of. If they're down, I hear about how awful the coaching staff is, how bad they all are when it comes to injuries. When they score a touchdown, dude, they are up high-fiving like it's a – you can come in, babe. They're up high-fiving. Oh. They're up high-fiving like it's a Super Bowl win. You're coming in here.
Yeah. So last week we got crap for
We said
that we were going to talk about a certain person, and she's actually going to be – I don't know what side you're going to be on my screen, but one of these sides, you're going to be over here. But she's going to pop in real quick. Where's she at?
She is going to be right there.
There's Amanda. Hi, Amanda.
Hi.
That's our auctioneer. This is my lovely wife. We did say we would talk about her. So, fun little story about me and Amanda. I watch my son's monitor until my wife goes to bed. So, if you're looking at the video, you could see the monitor. If not, I'm showing my sweet sleeping son. But I hold the monitor until she goes to bed, and then she comes in to get the monitor, and she tells me good night, and that's our nightly
Super
routine.
sweet. But we just wanted to thank Amanda for dealing with all of our drunk butts and show our appreciation to you because you did a fantastic job for everyone helping us out at the draft. So we just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
You're very, very welcome.
And that was my wife. Good night.
That's Amanda's kiss of the week.
I love you. I told her she was all nervous that she's going to walk in during the podcast.
Carol
her,
left. She had to go to work, by the way.
I said, no, come on in during the podcast, and I'll give you kisses on camera. I don't even care. I'll kiss you through the phone.
Ew.
Kiss me through the phone.
Is that a song?
Yes.
Dude, I don't know. I don't know songs. I know country music.
Welcome back, guys. We had some technical difficulties there. Corey lost internet in the middle of recording the video and the audio. I think we have enough expertise in terms of editing to be able to get back out of that. But going back in, we were on breakouts and fakeouts of the week. Corey, start us off.
How does someone have bad internet at 400 download speed? That's my question. But
I don't know.
Breakouts and fakeouts of the week. We're going to dive into Sammy Watkins leading the pack with 46.8 points, the highest total of the week, with 9 receptions, 198 yards receiving, and 3 touchdowns, all from Mr. Showtime himself, Patrick
Mahomes.
You know, people love him here. Like, he's like,
of course they love him there. You live in Kansas City.
No, but he's the king of Kansas City. If that's
of course he is. He was the MVP of the NFL last year.
It's incredible. People love him. He could do no wrong.
He could walk into anywhere he wanted in Kansas City and get whatever he wanted.
Oh, I agree. I love it.
Sammy Watkins was projected at 12.33 points. He more than tripled, almost quadrupled his
incredible.
46.8 points on Justin's team. Amazing. With Tyreek
in his flex,
Hill
right?
As the flex, yes. And with Tyreek Hill out, Sammy Watkins is their number 1. Corey, I believe you have what will be their number 2 with McCole Hardman, but we'll see what happens with all that.
He's in my starting lineup right now. We'll see.
I know he is. Breakout number 2, Lamar Jackson, as we said earlier, on Jake's bench. Just making sure I'm recording. I had this random fear that I wasn't recording, and then I got real scared.
Or I think we both fine.
Lamar Jackson, 43 points. Pulling up his stats now, let's see. He was projected at 22.58 points. He had a total of 324 passing yards, 5 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing attempts for 6 yards. Nothing crazy. Dude had an insane week, and then I love that he instantly went to Twitter and said something along the lines of, like, how's that for a rushing quarterback? Or something.
Oh, he said that?
Yes.
Dude, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
His Twitter reaction to the haters was the best of the shade I've seen of the season yet in all 1 weeks of it.
I would drop my mic, but I spent too much money on it. I cost too much money on
I cost too much money on mine said microphone.
it.
What about our first?
Ooh, we can do the first fake out of the week.
Our fake out of the week, number one, famous Jameis Winston, 194 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, 2 fumbles, 3 interceptions, and 1 sack. He instantly hit our waiver wire this week. Poor guy.
Jameis Amos.
Not looking good, and that explains why Mike Evans scored low.
Chris Godwin.
Yes,
Barber, Ronald Jones.
all of these Tampa Bay Buccaneers who did not turn out well.
Why
It's
is
week
Florida so
1.
bad at football?
I don't think they're week 1 bad. It was just a bad
The Dolphins were.
situation. I think Jameis is bad. The Dolphins are a different story.
They're terrible.
But Jameis is known for turning over the ball to the other team, but the Buccaneers aren't as bad as they showed in week 1. That is just my personal opinion.
I agree with that. The Dolphins are terrible.
The Dolphins are as bad as they were in week 1, and you can drop every Dolphin you have. Someone offered me a Dolphin in a trade, and it was an instant decline.
Right. Yeah, you don't take any Dolphins. Kalen Ballage, Albert Wilson, none of those guys. They're all terrible.
Hard pass. Devontae Parker had a decent game, and I actually dropped him last week. Let's see real quick. Let me pull him up. Devontae Parker, he had 10.5 fantasy points. He had 7 targets, 3 receptions. He turned 3 receptions into 75 yards. That's
great.
That's not bad.
No.
But you're on a bad team.
Which doesn't help by any means.
Not at all.
So next, we're actually going to dive into who the Tennessee Titans played. Baker Mayfield, who is on my team. So I started, my starting quarterback was playing my personal favorite team. And passing yards was 285. They killed it. Their first drive was incredible. I think they ended up rushing the ball with somebody. It wasn't Nick Chubb. But he had 3 interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown, 1 passing touchdown, and was sacked 5 times. And I think Cameron Wake, who sacked him maybe twice, because there was a fumble later on as well, I think. But he ended up getting, I think, Defensive Player of the Week. And they say he's old, so I'm okay with it. Come on, Titans.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield, I think the whole Browns conversation is kind of muted for now. I don't think they're a bad team. Again, I don't think their week 1 defines who they are.
No,
they are
still get better.
They are still stacked, but I do think it humbles them out. I think it cuts them down a little bit, and you're not going to see – I think everybody's expecting the Browns to come out looking like the Patriots, and I just don't think you're going to see that yet.
No, they're not going to.
They have the weapons. They have the potential to be really, really, really good, but they're just not good yet.
Yeah, and they actually had – I don't know the exact number. It's a lot. And I know it's above 15, and I know it's above 175 yards of penalties. And it was the most penalties by the Browns since 1950 something or 1940 something.
Well, it was also the most points the Browns have scored since 1960, so they got that.
Ooh, 13 points.
I'm just kidding. Moving on though. So we will do a segment every week. The biggest loser, the baddest beat. Which team lost the worst?
Ooh, Nick, I wonder who it could be.
Winters, Varsity Blues Clues. I'm coming for you. Nick, I love the hell out of you. Yes, I said hell. I said it twice. Hell, I'll say it 3 times. Nick.
Heaven.
I know that week 1 for you was painful. 165.62 to 93.7. Not even quick math in my head, but we're talking around 75 points of a beat. That's almost double your score at 93, Nick. I know you didn't love it. Joe Mixon didn't do well. Ebron didn't do well. Joe Mixon didn't perform at all. Joe Mixon shows up with 3.7 points. On the ground, we had 6 rushing attempts for 10 rushing yards.
Didn't the first, the most or the highest scoring differential was in our week 1 last year? Brittany.
It was Jimmy and Brittany.
Yeah. I wonder if it'll be the same this year.
We'll see, dude. Brett's team is stacked, and
if he plays Jimmy, you never know.
This was not even fair. The 165-93. It's almost
What did
like
you say?
what?
It was like the Patriots playing like 8th grade, like flag football or something
No,
like that.
that was me talking about the Patriots playing in the NFL in general.
Oh, okay.
The Patriots playing the NFL is like if my son was in 6th grade intramural sports playing after school basketball or after school flag football and the Patriots came to play him. That's how I feel watching the Patriots in the NFL.
It was bad.
They're good. I hate them because they're good, but I know that's not. I can't hate someone because they're good.
Yes, you can.
It's
I
just
can. I do
I'm
it all
just
the time.
tired of seeing a really good Patriots team, but I get it. Like they just manage their team well. They play well. They pick the right guys. They pay the right amounts, and they win 6 Super Bowl rings for a reason.
How many more years does he play?
Brady?
Yeah.
Or Belichick?
Brady.
I think he's probably got 5 more years in him.
I was thinking 2.
I think he's got 5 more years, 2 more rings.
Yeah, I don't want that to happen.
I think Brady will take 8 rings once he gets his 8th ring.
He's almost been to more. He's won more Super Bowls than people have been to.
What?
He's won more Super Bowls than teams have even been.
I thought you were like, than fans have gone to.
No.
No,
Like,
I'm pretty sure there's been 52 of those, and he hasn't won 52.
Like, yeah, it's crazy because it'll be if he goes again because he's already been to 8 Super Bowls and won 6 of them.
Yeah.
No, he's been to 9 Super Bowls because he lost against.
I know for sure. He lost 1
to the Eagles and lost 2 to the Giants. So he's been to 9 Super Bowls.
To the Birds. Oh God, that was so loud. But anyway, Nick, yeah, Joe Mixon didn't perform at all. Derrick Henry, however, did perform. 28.9 points on the bench. 19 rushing attempts for 84 yards for 1 rushing touchdown, 2 targets, 1 reception, 75 receiving yards, and 1 receiving touchdown. Holy moly, dude balled
75
out.
yards, by the way. It was a 75-yard touchdown.
Which he does. He either gets 2 yards of carry or he gets 90 yards of carry.
Yeah.
That is Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry was actually a possible trade early in the season for me and Nick. I'd say early in the season. It's week 1.
Week 1.
Earlier before game 1. We ended up not moving forward with it. But Derrick Henry, 28.9 points. Insane. Another ball out for Nick on his bench. Larry Fitzgerald, 25.3 points, 8 receptions, 113 yards, and 1 touchdown. He was Kyler Murray's favorite target. Larry Fitzgerald, my favorite player in the NFL, also on Nick's bench. Nick's bench was on fire, thus making Nick our weekly son of a bench. Okay, our son of a bench weekly will be where your bench outplays your starters in a way. We are excluding, like we said, quarterbacks from this statistic. We're just going to focus on possibly running backs, tight ends, wide receivers, kickers. If you have a backup kicker on your bench, that's weird. But
yeah, true.
Nick, you're our son of a bench this week. We love you. We knew you were ready to take this, and leads me down this line of fun segments that I told you we'd talk about. Following this son of a bench segment, we have our double donut, which is me because Anthony Miller and Geronimo Allison both got 0 points. That is my double donut. Followed by our what does 100 points feel like, Nick? I would like to know because you are the only person in the league that scored 93, less than 100. Everybody else broke 100. Pretty sure, right?
Yeah,
just
they
make
did.
sure before it.
Okay, because I was giving Jimmy crap for it.
Everyone else broke 100 points. That is followed by our good deal or not so good deal, where I traded Chris Carson and Fab for Chris Carson for Fab and Marvin Jones. That's followed by our Jimmy G for Metcalf or Jimmy G for Metcalf segment, where you pick up a quarterback and you drop him for the same guy, and you pick him back up and you drop him for the same guy. That was a special segment that will not happen every week. That was my little tiff with Nick in our group meet. Nick, I love when you come to the table with some trash talk. You're one of the best at it. You're one of my favorite people to do it with. Love that, man. I had to mention those things on the podcast because those were all pretty hilarious this week.
Nick's bench almost outscored his starting lineup.
Did they?
I looked it up real quick. It's close. It's like within like 10 or 15 points.
Oh, it's almost the same points.
Yeah.
50, 63.
I did it. It's like he's at like 70 something.
73, 80. Yeah, he's at like He's at like 86.
Yeah, and he scored 98 or
93.
93, so that's pretty close. So we'll
Moving forward,
yeah.
jumping into waiver pickups, Corey's going to tell you there was a lot of action on the waiver wire this morning. As we all know, waiver Wednesdays are the reason we are doing podcasts Wednesday nights, so we can see what gets spent on who, starting with
TJ Hawkinson. So Matt and I were talking about TJ Hawkinson because he's what was the adjective they used for TJ Hawkinson? Gronkian, which is a great adjective, by the way. So all these waiver pickups happened at, if I'm not mistaken, at like 3:26 a.m. this morning. So obviously,
it says they go down at 11:59. Like it's supposed to close at 11:59, but I think it actually goes into the morning.
Yeah, so it happened like on my thing. It says 3:26 a.m. my time. So we're talking 1:26 your guys' time. TJ Hawkinson went for $51 fab. And the next person down was Brett, if I'm not mistaken, at 0 fab.
Yes, so this was not a normal situation. TJ Hawkinson was the number one tight end fantasy pickup for the week. Him and Jimmy Graham both were decent pickups for the week. But TJ Hawkinson came out week one, rookie tight end for the Lions, and looked really good. All analysts and stuff that I follow said
like 130 yards.
Buy him. I had 153 fab going into this, so I knew I had some to spend. I had just traded Hunter Henry to Nick, unknowing he was injured.
Yeah.
And so I was going into this waiver to buy the tight end I wanted. I rearranged my entire team, and I was tight endless, and so I was buying who I wanted off the waiver, and I did. I figured somebody would put in a little more, but like Corey said, the bet under me was 0, and that was Brett. I could have put in $1 and got him, but it is what it is. I got him, and that's all I care about.
It could be the next like George Kittle-esque for this season.
Possibly.
We'll killed it last year. We don't know, but there's a good chance that he will be.
Next waiver pickup, Marquise Brown for Darrell Henderson Jr.
Yeah, the third running back out of L.A., the Rams.
Oh, are you talking about a drop?
Yeah, he dropped him for him.
Oh, I got you. I care more about the waiver pickups than the drops.
Okay. Yeah, I just put the drops in there.
Got you. I didn't look at this before we did it. Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, to Ethan for 40 fab. Ethan, I love it, dude. Ethan's coming out, spending some money, and he's dropping 40 of his 100 today for Hollywood Brown after I think it was 4 catches and 100+ yards.
Stupid. It was all on like 8 snaps and like 5 targets or something like that. It was something crazy.
Interesting pickup, but I love it. I originally had a bid in for him, but then after all my trades, I actually pulled it because I feel good with where I'm at with wide receivers. So I didn't want to risk losing other fab.
I had 20 fab on him, so he beat me out.
I love the pickup. Ethan. Solid pickup.
Did you know that Marquise Brown is Antonio Brown's cousin?
For real?
Yeah, dead serious. They're cousins.
At least he's a little more sane.
Well, we'll find out. He's a rookie. So next will be Adrian Peterson, and Dallas picked him up. He dropped Darius Geis, and he dropped 20 fab on him. So I think it's a great pickup because Adrian Peterson was a healthy scratch week 1, but with Geis going down, we'll see what happens.
And AP was a drop for me after the healthy scratch. I didn't love having AP on my bench anyway.
He's like 32 years old.
Last year didn't super do well, but I do believe he will do more now that Geis is out. Chris Thompson will play the third down passing role. Adrian Peterson will be their starter, their one first down, second down guy. But that leads me into I picked up Chris Carson. I wish. R.I.P. Chris Thompson. I dropped Justin Jackson. Picked up Chris Thompson for 16 fab. He is simply my running back to play on bye weeks. He is not a bad PPR guy, in my opinion. He gets 6 to 7 targets a game, couple rush yards on the ground, or a couple rush attempts on the ground. Just not a bad guy when I'm in a pinch.
Yeah, and then next was DK Metcalf for Eric Ebron. Nick dropped Eric Ebron and picked up DK Metcalf for 12 fab. We never know what's going to happen to DK Metcalf. He's the buffest. Happened.
You never know what's going to happen.
He is the buffest guy I've ever seen. Like he's
Who,
ripped.
Nick?
No, DK Metcalf.
Oh,
I've never seen Nick without his shirt on,
I have.
unless he wants to.
Nick is also very buff.
Is he?
No.
Oh, I was like, he's hiding that. All right, we cuss.
Oh, dude, you did it. Dang.
I did. We made it like 87 minutes. It's fine.
We need to do water bets, and I get to water you.
Ooh, anytime someone cusses, I love that. Put it down.
Spin it for every time. And hell and damn don't count.
Yeah.
Only
We'll
real
say the
cuss
S
words.
word,
I
F
owe
word.
you a water bet for cussing on the podcast.
No, we'll start it now.
No, you get it. You get the inaugural. You cuss.
No, I'm saying I get the for sure the S word. But
yes.
not. I'm not gonna say it again. I don't want to have another water.
We got to fly through these. We're spending way too much time on the waivers. I'm going to do this real quick. So, funny thing, real quick with the DK Metcalf for the Eric Ebron. Ebron was supposed to be part of the trade with Tyler Boyd, but Nick was like, "No, he's going to bounce back. He's going to have a great game." And so I ended up just trading Hunter Henry and Giovanni Bernard for Tyler Boyd, and he kept Ebron. Then he dropped Ebron on the waiver. Whatevs. Now he's like in desperate need of a tight end because his tight end issue with
he ended up picking
Hunter Henry
up later.
He did, but I don't think he loves that.
No,
I think he wants Ebron back, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see because Ebron's now on waivers for 24 hours. But Justin, he picked up John Ross for $7. Justin also picked up the Patriots defense for $7. I picked up the Panthers defense for $1. I also this week thought it was just a good idea to roster my handcuffs for both Le'Veon Bell and for Dalvin Cook. So I picked up Alexander Madison and Ty Montgomery. Britt picked up Matt Bryant and dropped out of Vinatieri. I picked up a new kicker with Mason Crosby. David got Jimmy Graham for $0, and this was after waivers and everything went through. Okay. Brett got Amendola, but then later he dropped Amendola to pick up Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
Dallas picked up Raheem Mostert because he's the one. Dallas is the one going through the running back issue where he lost Geis, and now he's kind of in a interesting situation where Dallas still has Gurley, right?
Yes.
There's been no trade after that for
Gurley to go. I don't think so, no.
And then Jeff picks up Ronald Jones
the third.
And I believe that concludes.
That was all by like noon today, so I think stuff has happened.
That's the waiver action for week 1.
It's crazy.
Insane. Love it. Obviously, it starts to die down a little more throughout the season as people have less and less fab. My main focus this week was buying the tight end I wanted off of the waiver. Corey, run us through after all of that.
Yeah, speaking of fab,
how much money we got left?
We got Britt with $93, Ethan with $60, Brett $40, Jake $100, Nick $78, Matt $85, Justin $96, David $110, myself at $58, Jeff at $80, Dallas at $70, and Jimmy now has the most fab with a $120.
And that is including fab after spending it plus any trades that were done. This fab was updated the minute before we started the podcast tonight.
Yep.
So
now we'll dive into
we are going into the week 2 matchup, kind of to round this out and to end out the podcast. The 6 head-to-head matchups we will do every week. Which players will perform for the team, place our guesses on who we think will win those matchups. We are going to start Corey and Justin. You can talk about your first match, Corey.
Yeah, so I played Justin this week. We did a trade ourselves for Marlon Mack and Juju Smith-Schuster. But I have myself winning, obviously. I'm feeling very confident about my team now.
I also have you winning this one, Corey. Nothing against Justin. Corey, your team just looks solid. Not that the trade had anything to do with that, but your team all around looks good. Justin's team also looks good, but I do believe that
it's close. I think there's like a 5-point differential between the projected, but you can't really go by projected. You got to kind of go with gut sometimes.
Right. And matchups and all that. Projections, I do my best to never follow projections. It's hard to not have that bias when you see a number right there, but
especially when it's a high number.
Yeah, but matchups mean more to me than numbers that Yahoo predicts. But matchup 2, me versus Nick. What players do you think will perform for you out of you and Justin?
Let me jump into ours real quick. Let me pull it up, matchup. I honestly think that I'm trying to stall while I bring it up.
I can start talking about it. Obviously, Watkins will perform for Justin. McCole Hardman will perform for you.
I honestly think Baker Mayfield's going to have a good game. They played the Jets Monday night, and with the week 1 that they just had, I feel like he's going to ball out. Like, we're talking 40-plus points.
You are starting Baker Mayfield.
Yes.
Love it. Okay. Next matchup, me versus Nick. I have me winning. Corey also has me winning.
Yeah, sorry, I was scratching my eye.
No, it's all good. Based on the Google Doc, players that will perform. This one's interesting because Nick just gave me Tyler Boyd, and I do believe Tyler Boyd will perform. Dalvin Cook, obviously, I'm hoping he performs. Le'Veon Bell. And my biggest gamble yet, Tyler. No, it's TJ. TJ Hawkinson.
I was like, Tyler Boyd.
We will see. My team is pretty much brand new team this week, so it's an interesting matchup. We'll see what happens on Nick's team. He has Zeke. I do believe Zeke is coming back this week full on. Last week, he was still getting worked into the offense. This week, I believe he is putting up 20 to 40 points.
Nice. And then next we have Jake versus Jeff, the oldies in the group. I have Jeff winning. I'm just kidding. I'm just giving. They're the oldest guys. It's not. It is what it is.
They're more fair than you.
I know. It's not fair. Jeff has a gray head. So does Jake.
They both have a gray head of hair.
I know. I dislike both of them now. They're on my S list.
S list.
I have Jeff winning this one.
I have Jake winning this one.
Players balling out.
One player from each team. Let's keep it at that. It's easier.
Sure.
I know I rattled off like 6 from my own team. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I don't think Jeff's defense is going to do well because he doesn't have one at the moment. But maybe let's go James White at Miami for Jeff. And for Jake, I'm going to go with Harrison Butker for.
You're not giving Jeff Julio or Devontae as his people to go off?
No, James White is going to go off.
Devontae Adams is going to go off. Devontae Adams had a bad week 1.
They play the Vikings though.
I don't care.
Trust me, I promise you that
water bet
that James White will have more points than Julio Jones.
Deal.
Like
no, not Julio Jones, Devontae Adams.
Okay, that's fine. I'll take that. Water bet.
Done.
And then Jake, I would have Harrison Butker against the Raiders. He's going to score like 17 points like Will Lutz did last week.
All right. Matchup 4, we have Britt versus Dallas. Projected Britt 112, Dallas 135. Not even based on projections, based on teams alone. I have Dallas winning. Corey also has Dallas winning.
Yeah, we both have Dallas winning this one.
Kill me on these, Corey.
I'm looking at my phone. I'm sorry. My apologies. I'll look up. Next we have
ball out players real quick. One from each team. Dallas has Antonio Brown in the starting lineup. Not sure how I feel about that, but ball out players. Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce's coming back. Last week, Dallas started Travis Kelce and he benched Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews embarrassed Travis Kelce, but you don't ever not start Travis Kelce.
Agreed.
So Travis Kelce at Oakland, I'm saying 20 to 30 points for Travis Kelce this week. On the flip side, Kamara, easily over 20 points, as always. At the Rams, it's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a high-scoring game. Kamara, I'm putting 30-plus.
Nice. I love that. I love that game. I'm excited. Next, we have David versus Jimmy, and I have David winning.
I have Jimmy winning. You see how quickly I responded to you saying that?
I see that. My apologies. I have, for David's team balling out, I would say probably Brandon Cooks against the Saints. I think, like you said, it's a high-scoring game. I think they're just going to be wheeling and dealing. I love it. And then for Jimmy, I have I'm just going to go do it. I think it'd be fun because let's go Cooper Kupp. So they're playing each other. Like, they're on the same team.
Jimmy's newest acquisition.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
All right. Next matchup, we have Brett and Ethan. I have Brett winning.
I have Brett winning as well.
Nice.
I was looking at my phone too. I'm so glad I got
Brett's shiny new toy is Saquon Barkley versus Buffalo. last week, I'm not saying Saquon Barkley did bad. I mean, he got 24 points, but I'm telling you, Saquon Barkley, we all know, is going. Oh, sorry, I pulled up the wrong guy. Sorry, guys. Last week, Saquon Barkley got 17 points. I was looking at Chris Carson. Freudian slip, my bad. This week at Buffalo, I'm putting Saquon Barkley in the 25 to 35 range for points.
I feel like Brett has your team.
Chris Carson and Saquon Barkley were two of my top 3 draft picks now on Brett's team. But again, I was willing to admit that I made some mistakes and I needed to balance my team out, so I did. On the flip side, performance on Ethan's team, we're going with David Johnson, Arizona.
Okay, I love it. So next is going to be our Gavin update of the week.
Oh, my sweet little boy.
He is hilarious, by the way. Always smiling, always being good.
Sweet little man. Can you see it? I'm not on the camera.
I'm not on the camera.
Look at that sweet boy.
Oh, there's nothing of mine. But it's kind of a story that involves both of us, actually. It's really funny.
Yeah,
so last week we talked about, Gavin, just all about the button, all about the Xbox button. Just boop, 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 boop.
Yes. Yeah, so this week, Gavin at it again, hitting the button. I am doing my best to teach him not to do it, but when I come up to him to stop him, he likes to do this new thing where he crawls away really, really fast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a new thing, but his mind crawls faster than his hands, so he crawls, but then his hands come out from underneath him, and then he falls, and then he cries.
Oh.
But this week, so I'm like, I think we're watching football. It's on Sunday.
Yeah, because I'm at work.
Corey FaceTimes me, and he goes, point the camera at wherever Gavin is right now. And I knew Corey was calling me. So I turn the camera around, and Gavin is at the button, and he had been hitting the button for like 5 minutes. And we're watching football, so we're not fully paying attention. I can see him in my peripheral. I don't know exactly what he's doing. But Corey's like, I knew exactly.
I had all these updates on my phone.
I knew exactly where he was when I called you. So we're kind of doubling up on our story from last week.
It's
but this was
funny. It's a good follow-up.
Just a funny follow-up on last week's story. And then this is the story in action again. So
yeah.
Anyway, that's our Gavin update of the week. That dude, he lights up my day every day. I love it. And if you guys don't like that segment, guess what? I don't even care. So
deal with it.
Yeah.
We're gonna have
we're
gonna have the dog update of the week where I just yell at my dogs.
It was me.
Shut the.
Moving on, closing out our podcast here with our dad jokes of the week, starting with Corey. Go.
Okay, I'm ready. So did you know that I got all my looks from my father?
Yeah.
Mostly just a look of disappointment.
Oh, I don't like that.
I just thought it was funny.
That's a sad one.
My dad hates me.
Okay, here's mine.
Me.
How many Cowboy fans does it take to change a light bulb?
I have an answer, but I'm going to let you tell it, and then I'm going to tell you my answer afterwards.
Okay. None. They're just going to talk about how great the old light bulb was.
That's what I was like. They just talked about it for 20 plus years.
That's not really a dad joke. That's just a
cowboy joke
a little bit. Anyway, this week's question submissions. Let's just get through these real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Best trade of the week.
What was the best trade of the week? This was submitted by Jimmy.
Man, I mean, there's a lot of good trades that happened, honestly. In my opinion, just because I got Juju, I love it, and I gave up someone that had a great game, and I gave up some fab for it. But I think the Dalvin Cook, Robert Woods for Saquon Barkley.
I'm going to agree with you, not even because it's my own trade.
That's just a good trade because you got 2 for the best running back.
Yeah, and I was struggling at wide receiver. I got the double donut thanks to Nick's name for that. Now it's stuck in my head. I had nothing that represented a wide receiver. Marvin Jones got 10 points, but they had some overtime action. I had Sanu on the bench, but Anthony Miller, Geronimo Allison, both getting zeros. I had to do something. I had power in the running back because I had Le'Veon Bell and Saquon Barkley. I just threw it out there. Hey, Saquon Barkley's on the block. Brett hits me up. Hey, Dalvin Cook, Robert Woods for Saquon Barkley. It just made sense, and
it's not bad.
It could work out really great for me and really bad for Brett. It could work out really great for Brett and really bad for me. We'll see. but for me, it just made the most sense. And on all the trades this week, I would say that's the best one.
Yeah, for sure. And then we actually got another question was worst trade of the week.
Also from Jimmy. Jimmy, I'm going to give you my cold, hard opinion.
Yes.
I do believe the Devontae Adams trade was awful.
Oh, no. I think the Julio Jones for Austin Eckler.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. It was the one involving Eckler. My bad.
Okay.
Yes. The Eckler where you paid Jeff, Julio, and 20 fab.
It should have been the other way.
For Eckler blew my mind. You could have gotten 2 of Jeff's players for that.
Yeah, you should have traded Julio
you probably
Jones for
could
Austin
have
Eckler and 20
gotten
fab.
Austin Eckler and Josh Jacobs, because Josh Jacobs was on the block for Jeff. I can't speak for Jeff all the way, but you easily had a 2-to-1 opportunity. And I mean, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. This is your question, so you can't be offended by the answer.
Right.
But I hope that Eckler continues to do what he did week 1 to make that trade make sense.
Yeah, agreed. Next would be actually from our guest next week. How many wins will Jimmy have? And that's from Brett. I think we're on the consensus. We're going to go with 4 wins. He's going to be battling for the Hartzell Bowl.
Jimmy's winning 4 times this season. I know we're going to get a message in the group me instantly after he listens to this. Like,
oh yeah,
I'll take that action. $100. $100. 16 to 10,000 odds. I don't know. I don't understand any of that. And then our last question from David: who is the sexiest non-Bakersfield boy out of the 3 of them? We have Corey, Jimmy, David. David, you are by far the sexiest non-Bako boy.
First of all, Jimmy and I are from Bakersfield, so he's like, it's him.
Not currently, you're not.
But we were born and raised.
Anyway, guys, that's all we got for you this week. We'll see you next week for trades, the week 2 recap, most entertaining NFL game of the week, Corey's offensive play of the week, Matt's defensive play of the week, breakouts and fakeouts, biggest loser, son of a bench, waiver pickups and fab left, weekly predictions for the matchups, Gavin update dad jokes, weekly questions, and remember, we want Baldy's hate mail. We want you guys to email us at fantasyfootballedpodcast@gmail.com. Email us any trash talk you want us to talk about. We will not curse. We will try not to curse on the podcast. So if you include cursing, we won't accept it. If you include personal jabs, we will not accept it. The rules are plain and simple. Hit us up, guys. Thanks for coming in tonight. Today was tonight for us. Thanks for listening. We love you. Goodbye.
Like and subscribe. Don't forget.
Like and subscribe right here.
We're on YouTube too. Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Whoa, we did it again. My audio is recording.
So
hit me with you're doing the intro, right?
Yep.
Okay, hit me with a 1 whenever you're ready.
You want me to hit you with a 1?
Yeah, like we did last time to sync up.
Oh, like I got what you're saying.
Okay, hold on. Now I have 2, but I have too much audio. We can start cleaning up than that.
Sorry. I didn't realize what you were asking. My apologies.
Okay, my audio is recording.
As is mine. Sorry.
Okay.
1,
2,
3,
4,
5,
6,
7. You want me to start?
You're supposed to come in after 6, bro.
I forgot.
How many fucking numbers are we going to count? 86.
87. Gotta get the energy up, bro.
Hold on.
Start again.
Let me fix my audio.
Sorry, I forgot. I forgot what we were doing. So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Welcome everyone.
Okay. I got you.
Okay. I am recording.
So am I. 1,
2,
3,
4.
I just started laughing on my apologies. Start over.
Okay, I'm recording.
So am I. 1,
okay. 2,
3,
4,
5.
6. No, what?
Wait, what? Did I say 2 numbers? Did I say 2 numbers? Did I?
Oh, wait, no. Oh, no, my fault. I thought you were supposed to say 6.
No, if I hear you say 6, then I go into it, right?
Yeah, yes.
I was like 3, 4. I thought I did 2 numbers.
That was my fault.
Hold on.
I am recording.
I am recording as well. 1,
2,
3,
4,
5.
6.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 3 of the Fantasy Footbaldies, starring your host, Corey Skaggs, and...
Hold on, stop.
Sorry.
We have to go back.
Why? I was all over the place.
Welcome, everyone, to the Fantasy Footbaldies. I'm your host.
I was like, brought to you by...
I'll just do the intro. Let me do the intro. You want to do the intro?
No, it's fine. I just want to do the brought to you by.
Oh, no, then just do it. But make sure, welcome, everyone, to the Fantasy Footbaldies podcast with your hosts.
With your host.
Your name.
Corey Skaggs.
And Matt Thompson. Today's episode brought to you by...
Okay.
All right, here we go. I'm recording.
I am recording as well. 1,
2,
3,
4,
5,
6.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 3 of the Fantasy Footbaldies podcast, starring your hosts, Corey Skaggs and
oh. Why are we struggling so hard?
That one was good, too.
That was good energy.